Okay, today's lesson is all about ordering numbers based on their place value. So to do this, you need to be thinking really carefully about the value of each digit within a number, and don't be distracted when you see a single digit within a number, because sometimes that digit actually isn't worth very much. A really good example of that is 19 and 21. Now, most of you would know that 21 is the largest of those numbers, but some people will get confused because they would see the 9 in the 19 and they think, well, 9 is the bigger digit than 1 or 2 or 1 down here. So they would think that this was going to be the biggest number. But in reality, it's not, because the 9, although it is the biggest digit, is in the least significant position. When we're ordering numbers, we need to be looking at the most significant digit first. And in these two numbers, both being two-digit numbers, the most significant digit is the tens column. So we have 1 10 here and 2 10s here. So clearly this number here is going to be worth the most because it has 2 10s, whereas this one only has 1 10. I'm going to show you that in using some MAB blocks just as a model. So the number 19 is right there. You can see there is 1 10 and 9 ones, whereas the number 21 has 2 10s and 1 unit. So you can see clearly that 21 is the bigger number. But even though there's 9 ones in this number as well, the 110 is longer and bigger and worth more than those 9 ones because it is a more significant digit. Okay, so we want to put into practice what we've just learned about using place value to order numbers. So here we have 5 two-digit numbers and a number line, which we're going to use to order those numbers from smallest to largest. Make sure you look out for those words carefully. Sometimes they'll be reversed. Make sure you follow the instructions carefully. So we're looking for the smallest or the largest number first. Well, let's start with the largest number. So don't be distracted by the large digit in 19. Yes, 9 is the largest digit there, but it's actually only worth 9 ones. So it's worth a lot less than the 1 that's next to it. This is worth 110. This is only worth 9 ones. So although it's the largest digit, it's not really significant in helping us to order these numbers. We want to be looking at the most significant digit first, and that will be the tens column because that's worth the most in these numbers. If there were hundreds, it would be hundreds we'd be looking for. So we want to find the number that has the most tens, and that's going to be our largest number. So we have 3 10s here, 4 10s here, 1 10 here, 2 10s here, and 3 10s here. So clearly 41 with 4 10s is the largest number. Yes, it's only got 1 1, but the 1s are fairly insignificant. The 10s are the most significant number here. Okay, let's do the smallest next. So we're looking for the number which has the smallest amount of 10s. So 3 10s, 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s. So clearly 19, only having 1 10 is the smallest number. That leaves us with 3 numbers to order. 20 has 2 10s, 37 has 3 10s, and 32 has 3 10s. So this is smaller than the other two, so we'll put that one on next because it only has 2 10s, whereas the others both have 3. Now this leaves us with a bit of a challenge in that both of these numbers have the same amount of 10s. So now we switch our attention to the next column. This is the next most significant number. This one has 3 10s and 2 1s. This has 3 10s and 7 1s. So clearly this number here is worth more because although it has the same amount of 10s, it has more 1s. So we're going to put that one on the end closer to 41, and then this one will drop into the middle. Okay, let's practice this in a slightly more practical sense. And my class will know that I am a big Giants fan, so excuse me for using some footy cards here with some Giants players on it, but that's what was to hand. You might have Pokemon cards around that you could do the same thing at home with. We're going to use these 4 of my favourite players, Stephen Coniglio, Heath Shaw, Jacob Hopper and Tim Taranto, to do some ordering. So we're going to pick out some of the stats on the back of the card, and we're going to use that to help us order the players based on that particular stat. So first of all, nice and simple, we'll start with the card number. The card number is recorded just at the top here, just above the player's head. So we've got Stephen Coniglio's 92, Heath Shaw's 98, Jacob Hopper's 96, Tim Taranto is 99. So if we're going to order those players based on their number, they've all got the same amount of 10s. So we have to then look at the ones to find the smallest. Stephen Coniglio has 2 1s, Heath Shaw has 8 1s, Jacob Hopper has 6 1s, and Tim Taranto has 9 1s. So clearly Stephen Coniglio is going to be the smallest of those numbers. So we'll drag him onto the line there. That leaves us with 8, 6, and 9 ones. So 6 is going to be next. That's Jacob Hopper. Heath Shaw's got 8 ones, and Tim Taranto's got 9 ones. So Heath Shaw next, and Tim Taranto comes fourth. So based on card number, that's the order that they would be in. Okay, so next we want to order them based on their goals. So this is the top number in the orange box. You can just see here 24, 0, 10, and 6. So if we were to order them from the smallest number of goals to the largest number of goals, who do you think would come first? Who had the least number of goals? That should be an easy question. Yeah, that's right. It should be should be Heath Shaw even, who got 0. 0 is smaller than any of the other numbers, so that comes first. Who got the most goals? So having a look, we've got Stephen Coniglio with 2 10s and 4 1s, 1 10 and 0 1s, and 6 1s. So 10s being the most significant digit, we're looking for the number that has the most 10s, and that will be Stephen Coniglio with 24. So we'll drag him across to put him here, the largest end. So we're now left with a difference between 10 and 6. So hopefully we can see that this one has 0 10s and this has 1 10, so that means this is the largest of those two. And this comes in here. So Heath Shaw had 0, Taranto had 6, Hopper had 10, Coniglio had 24. And let's try some different stats. Okay, have a look at the tackles. The tackles are recorded in the bottom bar. Have a think, who do you think had the most tackles? Okay, so you should be able to see that he has 116, 53, 98, 140. And clearly, the two players with 3 digits worth of tackles are going to be the largest. So we've got to decide which one of these two is the largest number, 140 and 116. Because they've both got the same number of hundreds, we then go to the tens column, and we can see Tim Taranto has 140. 4 tens is more than 1 10, so he goes there as the largest number of tackles, followed by Stephen Coniglio, who has 116, and that leaves us with 98 and 53. So we look at the most significant number first, 9 10s or 5 10s. Clearly this one comes next, followed by this. So Heath Shaw had the least tackles with 53, Jacob Hopper had 98, Stephen Coniglio had 116, and Tim Taranto had 140. Okay, you could do the same thing with some of the other stats on the cards. Maybe look at the disposals, which is the long one here. There's some big numbers there that you could have a go with, some tricky ones too. And maybe if you really want to challenge yourself, you could have a look at some of the averages, have a look at their average kicks. So we've got a decimal point there, so you have to think about what that actually means and whether that's a significant digit or not a significant digit. Have a go with them. Let me know how you go on. Now, the other thing you could do, if you've got some Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards at home, there's loads of stats on those cards. You could take some of them out and have a look at a matching stat and order them based on that stat. So maybe their health points or any of the other numbers that are on there. There's some sizes and weights recorded on this Charizard. You could have a go with some of your own cards.